السلام عليكم student إن شاء الله تكونوا بخير. In this chapter 5 we will study motivation. As you know by now that organizational behavior studies occurred on 3 levels, right? The individual level, the group level and the organization level. So until this chapter including the motivation, we only discussed the individual level of analysis. So we in chapter 3 we discussed many individual differences, something like abilities, skills, personalities, demographic factors, attitude, and then in chapter 4 we discussed perception, and we understand many things in this chapter as people perceive things differently than the factual things, so this might let them behave in different way. Also motivation, one of the individual different. When we finish this chapter, by then we finish the analysis of the individual level. The coming chapters inshallah will be on the group level and organization level. So let's discuss here motivation. In this chapter we will address the major theories that have been developed and used in organization to motivate employees. Let's start. The learning objectives of this chapter, we will start with the definition of motivation, explaining the different components of motivation, and then we will categorize the theories that explain the motivation concept into 2 categories. The content theories and the process theories. In this lecture, the first lecture of this chapter that will be covered in this video, we will identify the need levels in Maslow's hierarchy, Alderver theory. We will take Herzberg, motivators and hygiene factors, and we will end with McClelland factors that reflect the different needs of achievement and other needs. This lecture will be about the content theories of motivation. The next lecture, inshallah, we will cover the remaining part of this chapter 5. We will define the key terms in expectancy theories, the equity theory, and the goal setting theory. And those theories will be in the category of process theories. The chapter will conclude with the concept of psychological contract that exists between any organization and the employees it hires. What is motivation? Motivation is the process that accounts for an individual's intensity, direction, and persistence of effort toward attaining a goal. What this definition means? First of all, the word process means the motivation is going through steps. And always the first step is the need. The individual, when he has a need refer to deficiencies, meaning a lack of something you want to satisfy or fulfill. So when the need or the individual feel this need, which he might experience at any particular time, so those needs might come to the individual in any time. Those deficiencies may be physiological, psychological, or sociological. When deficiencies are present, individuals are more keen to search for ways to satisfy those needs or the lack that they want to fulfill. So the process means that the individual going through steps to fulfill or to achieve what he wants to achieve. The other thing in definition that I want to stress on or focus on, the dimension that we can describe the motivation with, the intensity and direction and persistence. The intensity may be the word that we mean it all the time when we mention motivation. Intensity means how hard you are doing what you are doing, how hard you want to achieve or to fulfill this need or to fill this gap. The other thing, the direction. The direction maybe you will go in a bad or right direction to fulfill the need. And persistent is how long you will stay there to try to fulfill this. We will understand more of this definition in the coming slides, inshallah. So as we see here, the key elements of motivation: intensity and direction and persistence. They are going hand in hand to describe the motivation. Motivation is not only the intensity, how hard you are motivated to do something or you come with an action or certain behavior, but also we are talking about direction. We want to understand in which direction you are going to, and the persistence, how long you will stay there and put effort to do this. So the key elements of motivation, as we identified those elements in the definition before, let's just go through them. The intensity is concerned with how hard, as we agreed, a person tries. This is the element most of us focus on when we talk about motivation. As we said, when the person gets a deficiency or a need, he is having such intensity to go and satisfy these needs. The direction is the orientation that benefits the organization here. Of course, the person could choose a wrong or a good or bad direction. If you are in organization, hopefully he will choose the right choice for the benefit of the organization. Persistence is a measure of how long a person can maintain his or her effort. Motivated individuals stay with the task long enough to achieve their goals. So the motivated individuals will stay a long time to make sure they achieve their goal. Let's have an example. In a simple example, if the individual is hungry, so the intensity of hunger is very much, so he is looking now to satisfy the hunger, so he is looking for a source of food. The direction, maybe he will go to take any fast food, or he will go to have a healthy meal. So this is a bad and good decision. Of course, here we are talking about the individual, but in the organization as well, he needs to seek the benefit for the organization as well, not only his personal benefit. The persistence, if the person is very, very motivated, he will last longer in doing the effort to achieve what he starts from the need he wants to satisfy. So the motivated individual stay with the task longer. So those dimensions, if you want to describe the motivation of somebody, you need to describe it from 3 different dimensions: the intensity and its direction and the persistence. Determinants of job performance. So a variety of variables in addition to motivation play a role in the performance. So we are talking in this chapter about the motivation, which here in this figure, the willingness to perform. The willingness to perform, which is الرغبة إنك تأدي. The willingness to perform is not enough for the job performance. We have other 2 things or 2 factors coupling with the willingness to perform to make sure the job performance will achieve. Those are the capacity to perform and opportunity to perform. The capacity to perform means something like we already discussed in the individual differences. The abilities. Do you have the ability, the mental ability, the reasoning, the logic ability? Do you have the knowledge about the subject, about the job that you will go and do it in the organization? Do you develop your skills? So this is the capacity to perform. So the individual cannot only have the desire to perform, which is a willingness, without having the capacity. You need to build the capacity, and then you have the willingness to perform. So those things are very important for job performance. The other three factor, which is opportunity to perform, and this is something related maybe to the organization. The organization need to make available the resources, the benefits, the opportunities for career, maybe for a good place, good location to do your job. The leadership in the organization need to be good motivators for people to work and maybe flexible. Other things related to the job itself, like the work schedules, the work challenge or not. So if you have those three determines the capacity to perform and willingness to perform and the opportunity for you to perform what you willing to do, the job performance will be attained. So the managers here must motivate a diverse and unpredictable group of people. So here the managers in the organization want to make use of this capacity and this willingness, the motivation and the abilities and knowledge. So they need to motivate people to do the job. We know by now that the managers dealing with diverse and unpredictable group who maybe need different things to get motivated. So this diversity results in different behavioral patterns that are in some manner related to needs and goals. So the managers here need to always check to know those diversity of people's different ages, different education, different cultures. What are the needs and goals that motivate them? So they work on those and create the opportunity for people to get and perform. As you see in this table, the motivation theories in this chapter, we will discuss them in two categories. The first category is the content motivation theories, those theories that focus on factors within a person. So those factors are internal to the person, from within the person, that help him to energize, direct, and sustain and stop his behavior. So as we discuss in this chapter, the person feels the need, or he has a need that he wants to fulfill or satisfy. So this gives him a motivation, the first sparkle. So these internal factors will energize the behavior. The first sparkle, you go and search and to fulfill the need. This kind of motivation will direct the behavior in a certain direction and sustain the behavior in a long period of devotion to this behavior, and maybe something will happen to stop this behavior when it is satisfied. The process motivation theories, it is the theories that describe and analyze how behavior is, how we can affect the behavior to be energized, directed, sustained, and stopped. So this maybe we will be talking about a process, as the name mentioned, process motivation. So a collection of steps or factors or elements that lead the person or create the motivation inside the person, but from an external factors to be energized, directed in a certain way, and devoted and sustained, and then finally stopped. In this lecture 1 from this chapter, we will cover the content motivation theories, and for the next lecture, inshallah, we will cover the process motivation. Theories. The first theories under the content, it will be Maslow, the 5-level need hierarchy. Then we will discuss Alderber, the 3-level hierarchy, ERG. We will explain Herzberg, 2 major factors, the hygiene and motivators. And we will end this part by McClellan theory of the 3 learned needs acquired from the culture. The first content theory is the Maslow's need hierarchy. Maslow's defined human needs as physiological, the need for food, drink, shelter, and relief from pain. So those are the very primary, very basic needs for human. Then we have the safety and security. Those are the need for freedom from threat, the security. The person feels safe from any threatening events from surroundings. Then belongings, social and love. This is a need for intimacy, friendship, interaction and love. The need for esteem, it is the need for self-esteem and for respect from others. So every individual in this stage of need, he wants to have a good self-image of himself, he wants to respect himself, and he wants respect from others. Self-actualization, which is the highest need in the Maslow model, it is a need to fulfill oneself by making maximum use of abilities, skills, and potential. Like we can say here, the person or the individual want to have the best version of himself. He can say, I fulfill my dreams. Maslow introduced his model in the pyramid shape. He put all the 5 categories in this, starting with physiological need in the bottom of this pyramid of needs. And this is the way we can read Maslow's model or Maslow's pyramid or hierarchy. From bottom up, and this is what the arrow, the red arrow in the left here, heading up. So we can read it from the bottom up. So the person, as Maslow said, first he can satisfy that physiological need, the need for food, drink, and feeling free of pain. Then he can progress to safety and security, to feel secure, free of threatening in the surrounding and in the environment. Maslow said that the person will move on or up in the pyramid to the belonging and social and love. He is looking for relationships, social interaction, and love to feel intimate with others. And then the individual wants to achieve the esteem level of respecting from others and respecting to himself and have a good self image. Finally, he could achieve the self-actualization and fulfill his dreams and have the best version of himself. In these pyramids, we can say or we can notice few things. So, as we said, we read it from the bottom up, physiological, and safety and security, and those we can name them the lower level needs. The lower level needs are composed from physiological and safety and security. Then the belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, those are the higher level needs. We can say that the lowest need is the physiological, of course, and the highest need is the self-actualization. Maslow said as well that the individual cannot jump across this pyramid. He only can satisfy the need and then jump upward to the other need to fulfill it. So we cannot imagine that the person wants to have a good self-esteem and respect from others, and he's not feeling safe or secure, or he's hungry and not having a shelter above his head. We cannot say the person fulfill his dreams and self-actualization without a good relation and social interaction with others. So this is the concept of satisfaction progression. So the person cannot progress upward in the pyramid unless he satisfies the lower or the previous needs in the ladder. So if we getting upward in a ladder or in the pyramid, so we need to satisfy the lower, then we progress to the highest or to the higher level needs. A final word here, the key points on Maslow's theory. The person attempts to satisfy basic needs before directing behavior towards satisfying upper level needs. So this we said already, that the person cannot jump to satisfy a need before he satisfies the basic needs that came before. Then a satisfied needs ceases to motivate. Maslow said that when you satisfy the need, it's no longer motivates you. It will no longer motivate you. It's not a pushing factor for you to go and seek anything because the need is already satisfied. So what motivates you is the unsatisfied needs, the thing that you have lack or deficiencies in. This is the thing that push you or direct you or let you move to achieve it or to fulfill it. Maslow said that the unsatisfied needs can cause frustration, conflict, and stress. Sure, if the person or the individual try more and more to have a belonging, to have a relationship with others, or to secure a place, a home, or to have a good self-esteem, and he's not succeeding in this. Maybe the organization doesn't have the opportunity for promotion, so you don't have a good self-esteem. Maybe you don't have the extra money to have a good home, or you don't have the time to have a trip with your friends to socialize. So maybe this will cause a frustration and conflict. But the intensity of this need will make you always find a way to satisfy it. Maslow in the end said that people have a need to grow. We all have the need to grow and develop, and we'll always strive constantly to move up the hierarchy in terms of need satisfaction. We all want to go up in this pyramid to satisfy our needs. Adorber's ERG theory. The ERG are the three letters referring to the three needs proposed by Adorber: the existence, relatedness, and growth. The Adorber theory is a simplified version, but surely have similarities and differences with Maslow's theory. Alderfer proposed a hierarchy involved 3 sets of needs, though 3 sets similar to the 5 sets that proposed by Maslow's. The first, existence. Those are the needs satisfied by such factors as food, air, water, pay, and working conditions. So the existence factors similar to the physiological and safety needs to Maslow. Relatedness, those are the needs satisfied by meaningful social and interpersonal relationship. So as you can see here, those are similar to the belonging in Maslow's pyramid. The growth needs satisfied by an individual making creative or productive contribution, and those are similar to the self-esteem and self-actualization in Maslow's pyramid. Those are the highest level of needs. So here the three set of needs, these are the similarities between Alderfer and Maslow. Alderfer and Maslow differ on how people move through the different sets of needs. How Maslow and Alderfer different between each other. In addition to the satisfaction progression process, which proposed by Maslow, as we said, ERG theory suggests that a frustration regression process is also at work. What this means? This means that Maslow proposed that a person only progresses up in the pyramids once a lower level need is adequately satisfied, right? You understand this. The individual cannot jump to a higher need unless he satisfies the previous need. Although Alderfer theory suggests that the frustration regression process is at work, meaning that if the person is continually frustrated in attempts to satisfy growth needs, maybe relatedness and existence needs will re-emerge as a motivating force. So the difference here between those two concepts, satisfaction progression and frustration regression. Satisfaction progression, from the point of view of Maslow, you cannot progress unless you satisfy the previous need. Although Alderfer, the frustration regression concept means that if you get frustrated that you cannot satisfy or you cannot succeed in satisfying a certain need, you can emerge another set of need with it. So you regress, you go backward, so you can satisfy another need altogether. Individuals are motivated to engage in behavior to satisfy one of the three sets of needs. So here the ERG theory implies that individuals are motivated to satisfy one of the three sets of needs simultaneously. So here they can satisfy those three needs simultaneously, meaning in the same time. However, Maslow only you could satisfy one need in one moment, so you consequently can satisfy the higher needs. And this is the main difference here between Maslow and Alderfer. Alderfer, you can satisfy the need simultaneously. If you're frustrated from satisfying a higher need, you can remerge another need with it. While Maslow, only you progress after you satisfy the previous needs. Herzberg two-factor theory. Another theory from within the content theory. It is a content theory known as the two-factor theory of motivation. What is the meaning of two-factor? Because we always discuss the motivation theories from one perspective. We know that only one factor, the positive side of it, make you motivated, and the negative side of it make you unmotivated, or the high level of it make you motivated, the low level of it make you unmotivated. The same thing here, but Herzberg take this from another dimension. Herzberg discussed that or proposed that we have two different causes of motivation and satisfaction. Two different causes. The causes that cause satisfaction is not the same cause that cause dissatisfaction. There are dissatisfiers and satisfiers. Those are two different dimensions, two different feelings. And we can say it in Arabic here, dissatisfiers, which is the مشاعر الاستياء, satisfiers, which is مشاعر الرضا. The hygiene and motivators factors, those are the factors that bring those dissatisfiers and satisfiers. The hygiene factors, you should have it in the organization to maintain a low level of dissatisfaction. Something like the job condition, the work environment. The person is expected this to be there. And if it's there, he will be less dissatisfied, but not necessarily satisfied. Only the motivators that create this kind of satisfaction. Something like job content itself, how you achieve in your work. These motivators. So motivators are satisfiers because motivators factors bring or create the satisfaction, while the hygiene factors bring the dissatisfiers factors. Herzberg also proposed that the hygiene factors is coming from extrinsic, which is the job condition, and context, which is something external to the job itself, while the motivators that create satisfaction coming from the job itself, which is intrinsic factors. Extrinsic factors related to job condition and context, this cause dissatisfaction if not present. So if I'm going to my work, I don't find the job condition as expected, it's not well organized, so I will feel dissatisfied massively. This doesn't mean that if I have it, if I found it there, I will feel satisfied. No, I will feel less dissatisfied. So low degree of dissatisfaction. So the extrinsic factors, which is the hygiene factors, those are similar to the lower end factors in Maslow, the physiological and the safety and belonging. Those are related to the job condition. I expect them to be there. If I find them there, I will have low degree of dissatisfaction. No dissatisfaction. If I found them there, if they are present, I will feel low degree of dissatisfaction. This doesn't mean that I will feel satisfied or happy. The thing that make me happy or satisfied is the intrinsic condition, which is the motivators which satisfy people. Those are the job content itself. When present, it builds a strong level of motivation and make people satisfied. If they are not there, it makes you less satisfied. So let's discuss here the two factors that proposed by Herzberg. Let's start with the extrinsic condition, which are the dissatisfiers or the hygienes. As we said, they are related to the job environment, the work environment, something like the salary. Is it okay, the salary, is it something that I'm looking for? Is it good for me? The job security, what kind of this organization, they hire, they fire people, or we have agreement. The working condition, the atmosphere, the timing of the job, the work schedule, is it severe or easy or what? The status that I have, do this company give me the status, the position that I like to have? The company procedures, is it clear, is it formal, is it not communicated well? The interpersonal relation with my peers, with my colleagues, with bosses. So those are the job environment. Having these conditions present doesn't necessarily motivate employee. It only maintains a low level of dissatisfaction or no dissatisfaction. I expect those conditions to be in my organization. So these conditions are the dissatisfiers or hygiene factors because they are needed to maintain a level of no dissatisfaction or low level of dissatisfaction, but not necessarily will motivate me to work or commit or come on time because they are not creating motivation. It's only maintaining the dissatisfaction. The other type or the other factor, which are the intrinsic condition, the satisfiers or the motivators here on the right side, something related to the job itself, the achievement. Do my job make me achieve, feel that I'm good at it, I'm confident to do what my job needs me to do. Recognition, do the management recognize me, admire me, give me a bonus or promotion. The responsibility, they trust me, they give me more responsibility, and of course authority, because responsibility comes with the authority. The advancement, do I have any hope that I will be promoted in my job? The work itself, is it consume a variety of skills that I have, or it's very routine kind of work? The possibility of growth, the image and esteem and self-actualization. And those are, as I said, those are related or similar to Maslow esteem and self-actualization. When those are not present, jobs are not highly satisfying. But when present, they build a strong level of motivation and satisfaction. And they are very, very important. So let's give a message here from this model to the management. The management need to take it on two stages. If they understand this, they want to take it on two stages. The first stage to adopt is to remove dissatisfaction by making the extrinsic variables available. To remove and eliminate job dissatisfaction. Because people want this to have a certain level and certain degree. And then the next stage, they are trying to work on creating and advancing the kind of satisfaction by trying to work on the job enrichment and the job itself to make it meaningful to people, to let them be motivated and satisfied. The end here, and to summarize for this theory, as we said, the traditional job satisfaction theories was talking about one continuum, one line here. The end of this line, the two extremes, is high job satisfaction and high job dissatisfaction. So those are causes that the positive or the high level of it make you satisfied. The low level of it make you dissatisfied. And this is a traditional view and very different from Herzberg's view of two-factor. Herzberg two-factor said that we have two dimensions. The first based on motivators, the second based on hygiene factors. The first that based on motivators, if they are present, they give you high job satisfaction, which is the job itself. If it's not there, if it's not present, it will give you no satisfaction. The other dimension, which based on hygiene factors, related to the job environment and the work environment, the peers, the salary, as we said. If it's there, it gives you no dissatisfaction, but this not imply that I'm satisfied. It's only low degree of dissatisfaction. If it's not there, and this is very, very problematic, it will give me a high job dissatisfaction. So the companies need to work on those to maintain at least the basic level and low level of dissatisfaction, and if possible work on the work itself to make it meaningful and popular to everyone's needs and goals. The last theory here is McClelland learned needs theory. McClelland contends that when a need is strong in a person, its effect is to motivate the person to use behavior that leads to its satisfaction. Here, McClelland believed that needs are acquired from the culture. So it's not coming from the start of from when you're born, but it is acquired. It's coming from coping with the environment. It's the main here is these needs are learned through coping with one's environment. And if those needs are very strong, they will motivate the person to use his behavior that leads to satisfy these needs. What are those needs? The need for achievement, the needs for affiliation, the needs for power. Those people who have high need of achievement, they need to succeed, they need to excel. They are living for this. They always want to win. They want to win at any cost. The affiliation, the need for affiliation, those people who have the need for affiliation, they always want a friendly and good relation with others. They feed on social relationships. Those people are intolerant to disagreement. They always want to look popular in the group they make. The need for power, those people that, when we talk about power before in previous chapter, those people who they want people to behave in a way they want them to do. And those people always exaggerate their abilities. Maybe they are very dominant person. Maybe they put a good power or bad power, and we will talk about this in a minute. Let's see every single needs and what are the characters. First, factors reflecting a high need of achievement. First, those people like to take responsibility for solving problems. They always want to solve problems, and maybe this we can find out that those people maybe hate to work in group, and if they are working in group, they will take the responsibility and the lead. Also, they tend to set moderate achievement goals and take calculated risk. Those people are not gambler. They want to win at any cost, so they want a moderate achievement, 50-50 win situation and lose situation, 50-50, so they can achieve their goals and they have calculated risk. Also, they desire to have feedback on performance. They always want to know what they did, how they perform, so maybe they can improve. Those people, we can see them as entrepreneur, but with calculated risk. We can see the people with low need of achievement here to be maybe not having the confidence in themselves comparatively to those who have high need in achievement. The factors reflecting a high need for power, those concentrates on obtaining and exercising power and authority. As we said, they are striving to exerting power on people. They want people to behave in a way they do. They are concerned with influencing others and winning arguments. So they always want to win the arguments. Power can be negative or positive, as we said. You can exert power of fear, or you can exert power of respect. So these are positive kind of power, or the power of experience. This is a good thing. But when people just fear you, this is not a good kind of power. We can see here the people that have low level of need of power to be a dependent persons, not an independent as those who put power on people. Lastly here, the factors reflecting a high need of affiliation. Those people desire social interaction. They love to have a social interaction with others. They're concerned about the quality of personal relationship. They want a honest, strong relationship, not just a friendship. They want the quality of it. Social relationship take precedence over task accomplishment. So they like the social relationship more than the task accomplishments. Like something like they like the trip rather than the final destination. If the trip is good and have fun and something they relate to, they're looking for, it's better than the final destination. So they prefer to have social relationship rather than task accomplishment. If we find people that have low need of affiliation, maybe those will be a very lonely person. They don't like to gather in groups. So those are the three learned needs that proposed by McClelland. In the end here, and this was the last theory in this, we can say that we already discussed the content theories that primarily focus on the needs and incentives from within the individual that cause them to behave in certain way. In the next lecture, inshallah, we will talk about the process theories of motivation. You have here the main terminology that we discuss in this part of the chapter of motivation. Maybe you will find it helpful if you need them, so you can review. Thank you, and you can raise any questions to discuss over the page of the Facebook regarding this part and any part of the pages to come إن شاء الله.